coming in. There. All right. Hey, you guys. What's going on, Chris? What's happening? Just getting things going. I realized I was broadcasting and I hadn't even make sure my Wi-Fi was on. Yeah. Well, yeah. What is it? First thing to go as we age, you know. Anyhow, so I'm up and running now, and see if we can get some weights going. See if we can get some more stretching going, and answer any questions that you have. Feel free, hit me up on anything. Doesn't have to be on personal training or health coaching. The book I put out back in 2014's got 80 chapters, and I cover a whole bunch in it. Pushing Double Nickels. You'll find it on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kindle, hardback, softback, whatever. There's a lot of chapters on a lot of stuff in there, so feel free to hit me up on anything you got questions on. One thing that is true about age, if you do it properly, you know, you do tend to gain wisdom, not necessarily across the board and everything. You know, I just got done with a relationship with a millennial, and believe me, at 58, 25, just as much as you want it to work. Yeah. I was just getting my weights started, getting weights going. If you're one of those folks who used to be like me, and let's bring my former self into the picture here, that was still 50 pounds lighter than I was at my heaviest. I used to be really big, 252 pounds. I keep this old driver's license picture handy so people can see, because they don't believe it most of the time. But yeah, that was 252 pounds, and I was still smoking cigarettes at the time. I did not do myself any favors. You know, and so at 45, I got hit with type 2 diabetes. That was 2005. So I had to get rid of the cigarettes. I had to take care of the weight. I had to do things and make the changes, you know, to be healthy. Yeah. So you have any questions on pretty much anything, you know, losing weight, gaining weight, getting in shape, falling out of shape, you know, because that can happen. You can decondition almost as quickly as you can start building some muscle. You can also lose muscle. So it all depends on your activity levels and what you're doing. As far as losing or gaining weight, that's all just a numbers game, you know, literally. Who's joined us? Morning. Hope everybody's having a great day today. I can never say that right. fairly sure. Bist du Deutsch? Sprechen Sie Deutsch? I used to live in Oberammergau, if you know where that is. Ogau, down there, Garmisch-Partenkirchen, up in the mountains. Absolutely gorgeous Bavaria. If you ever have the chance to go to Germany, I'm not in Germany. Bavaria is beautiful, but all of Germany is just gorgeous. All of Europe is beautiful. Seriously. So if you ever have the chance, take it. Anyhow, I'm here to answer questions. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be on personal training. I am an ACE certified personal trainer. I'm an ACE certified health coach. An ACE certified health coach is like a personal trainer on steroids because we cover everything. Remember, I was 252 pounds. This was 205. So at one time, I was 110 pounds heavier than you see me standing here now. And I had to make those changes midlife. Hey, when they hit you with type 2 diabetes, that's nothing to mess around with. Seriously. The numbers will scare you. I'll share them with you. If anybody has any questions while I'm talking about this, please hit me up. One thing I like to do is share. Hey, Dell, what's going on? I'm not even going to try to pronounce the hierorg. Something about Roger on the end there, buddy. I'm sure you can pronounce that a lot better than I can. I just say, hey, Dell. You guys have any questions, seriously, on just about any topic, you can hit me up. Pretty much cover anything across the board. What I teach people as a health coach, and to me, the personal trainer is important. And sure, I can help people get in shape. I can help people build muscle. I can help people lose weight. Most personal trainers can do that. What's more important to me as a health coach is that I have the ability to work with the entire individual. We talk about diet, we talk about nutrition, we talk about exercise, of course, being sedentary versus not being sedentary. How much of your time is spent during the day sitting, whether it's on the job or at home, whatever, and the evening, etc. And diet is real important. To me, the most important factor is to understand, to be balanced, to be healthy. If 75% of your time is spent watching what goes into your body, so 75% is nutrition, what you eat or drink, calories in, versus 25% is exercise, the amount of time you spend moving. To me, it's getting your heart rate up to the point where you're at cardio level. Where you're actually getting the amount of exercise you need and the minimum recommendations any personal trainer will tell you, and CDC website, go there now. If you're already at weight, if you're already where you need to be, your doctor says you're healthy, your numbers are good, then you need 30 minutes of exercise 5 times a week. So 5 times a week, you're doing something like jogging or power walking, or you're playing tennis, something that's getting your resting heart rate double if possible. Now be careful. If you're deconditioned and your resting heart rate is 100, because normal heart rate can range between 60 and 100. But if you're deconditioned and you haven't exercised in a long time, don't go out and start doing wind sprints, please. You don't want to force yourself into a heart attack. And I don't take on any client, either for personal training to lose weight, gain weight, build muscle, learn about nutrition, whatever, until I have all their numbers from their doctor. And we talk about numbers from their doctor. I work with doctors. Right now, we have an epidemic. We've got 2 epidemics happening in America. I got caught up in both of these epidemics. One has to do with weight, and the other has to do with diabetes. See who's joined us. I want to make sure I'm answering your questions if you have any. Hey, Jason. Hey, Tom. What's going on, you guys? Seriously, if you're sitting down, get up. One of the things that got me looking like this and 50 pounds heavier than this is I spent 25 years working in the computer industry, teaching people how to work on the computer. I'm the guy that put together corporate training programs. So I'm the guy that worked with the IT directors and the MIS managers to put together training programs for all the companies out there and the businesses. Schools, businesses, colleges, governments. I was a government specialist. Funny, I went through boot camp at Camp Pendleton, MCRD San Diego, and that was one of my favorite clients, as I was, nearing the end of my IT career, which ended in 2013. Now, why did I get out of a 25-year career in computers? I loved my job in computers. I absolutely adored it. I mean, I still do. I'm a computer geek. Have been ever since I discovered computers in the mid '80s. But I was in IT and information technology training, and I was with the user groups. I was the head of the Novell user group nationally at one point. About '96. And I was very involved with the Microsoft networking once Microsoft pretty much pushed Novell down. Anyhow, bottom line is I'm an IT geek. So I spent 25 years in computers, and I was either in my office sitting on a computer, right, working on the computer, but sitting down. I'd go out at lunch, and whatever I hit, Mickey D's, Wendy's, it didn't matter. I would take whatever I went and got at lunch, or even if I brought lunch, and I'd bring it back to the office, and I'd eat it right there at my desk while I'm working on the computer, and then I'd spend the rest of the afternoon sitting at my desk working on the computer. Otherwise, I would be in my car driving out to visit a client, go to a client site to sit in a conference room and talk about training the client's, staff, either end users or their network administrators or their database administrators, whatever. Bottom line is I spent most of my time sitting on the job, in the car. Once I get home, I would be sitting again at night. Hi to the wife and kids, back on the computer. When you're doing something that you love, and for those of you who have found your career, if you haven't yet, believe me, once you find what you like to do, especially if it's a job, you'll be doing it a lot. You're going to want to do it 24/7. You really have to rein it in. And even I knew at the time, but as you're building a business especially, you want to invest the time. The more time you invest in building your business, the better you're going to do. So anyhow, I spent most of my time sitting. Okay. If you relate to any of this or have any questions on this, please hit me up, because I do love answering these questions. For me, fan me, please. All right, Glitz, you fan me, I'll fan you once I'm done jabbering at everybody. Hey, Esme, how's it going? Glitz. Aaron Horn. Cool. Yeah, sure. Anybody that fans me, you want me to fan you back, just go ahead and say so. I'll do that. Yeah. I am trying to build a fan base on here, obviously. All of these videos get saved to Tumblr and YouTube. Lately, I've been helping people. We've been talking about one lady on here the other day. We were talking about anorexia problems. Quite a few folks we've been talking about weight issues. One lady was having issues with sleep. And we had to delve into that to really find the root cause of her sleep issues. And bottom line is it could be anything from mental to physical. As a certified health coach, an A-certified health coach, my job, as I see it, is to help people become more balanced, not just physically, because, I want to know what your BMI is. What is your body mass index? Are you in the healthy range? You can figure it out now. You can go Google body mass index, BMI chart, and you can pull it up. It'll show you, by your height and your weight, right to the point on the chart. It'll show you exactly what your BMI is, so you can know whether or not you're healthy. Hello, Adam. How you doing? And unknown YouNow person, thanks for joining. But I want to know what your BMI is. That's important. But that's not the only thing that's important, right? You're not just about weight. You're not just about your body mass. There's a person inside that body. I look at the human body very much the way I look at my car. It's my vehicle to get around. It's how I get around in this particular incarnation. I happen to be a Zen Buddhist. I happen to be very firm believer in both karma, reincarnation, and keeping a balance, which is the most important thing. When you're overweight, you've got a balance. If you're emotionally overloaded, if you're even broken, you're out of balance. Keeping a balance is the key to just about anything in your life to be successful. Now, being balanced physically, of course, you want to have your weight under control. You want to have your blood sugars under control. You want to make sure that everything that is within the physical frame itself is working properly. All of the organs are protected. When you start getting, like me, overweight, and then eventually, and you don't even know this is happening, I mean, you don't even, I mean, there really are no symptoms to putting on this kind of weight. That's my driver's license from about 15 years ago. That was 252 pounds, which was my heaviest. And remember, I'm only 5'8". So 252 pounds and 5'8". My BMI was 38. You know, I was pretty big. And on top of it, and this is the bad part, on top of everything else, besides being heavy, I was in my 31st year of smoking cigarettes. Yeah, pack a day. Had my first cigarette about 13, 14 years old, and by the time I was 15, I was a pack a day smoker, and stayed that way pretty much my entire adult life until I was 46. So we're talking 31 years, a pack a day of Camel filters. And of course, over the years, over 3 freaking decades of smoking, you can guarantee I've tried just about everything out there, from the Bugler Roll Your Owns to all the foreign cigarettes, the Dunhills, love the colored ones, that came in the pack from England. I mean, I tried every freaking cigarette on the market, let's put it that way, eventually. But for some reason, I always seem to come back to Camels. But not that I'm proud of that. Cigarette smoking was very stupid, mainly because all I was doing was poisoning my body, and literally. Um, and of course, anybody ever got in my face about it, you need to quit smoking. If you're a smoker, you know what I mean. Especially when it got to the point in the 80s when you could no longer smoke indoors. You had everybody talking about secondhand smoke. I mean, it got really nasty. At one point, and everybody, the smokers were all banished outdoors, and it's where they're at now. Unfortunately, that led to another problem that I tend to complain about a lot, which is the cigarette butts thrown on the ground. Don't start me on that one. I've got a whole section in my book on what happens when cigarette butts are tossed to the ground. Remember, every cigarette butt is a concentration of all the toxins and poisons that are in the cigarette itself. I mean, they're simply concentrated, as you're hitting on that butt. Remember, 31 years of smoker, I have a little idea of what I'm talking about. Besides the fact that I am the president and founder of the No More Butts Foundation, which is the nonprofit organization here in California, and we are dedicated to ending, cigarette butt litter. Yes, so yes, I'm biased, but I'm also a 31-year smoker, and I'm the guy that refused to do this out his car window. I'm the guy who refused to toss his cigarette butts out his car window. I guess you can credit it to my Marine Corps training. And you find that funny in a way, and it really is, because the first 8 weeks in boot camp, and I was in boot camp in July 1976, just after the bicentennial for the nation. I went to boot camp, and the first 8 weeks in Marine Corps boot camp, they don't let you smoke. You can't smoke cigarettes. You can't do anything except what they tell you to do 24/7. But after the 8th week, and I don't even remember why, but they let us smoke. So we went outside and we were in a circle, and we had a trash can lid held upside down, and we're all standing there and we're smoking our cigarettes. And oh my God, 2 months since you had one, for those of you who smoke, you know what kind of buzz that could be, But bottom line is, none of those ashes were allowed to hit the deck. None of those ashes went on the ground, right? Every one of those butts, everything. All that refuse went into the top of that trash can lid. And our gunny, who was actually out there doing it, I think he smoked too, but he didn't have one with us. But our gunny, who was out there with us, nothing ever goes on the deck. We protect this deck. And that's part of, wherever we are, that's part of us. So everything went in the trash can lid, went in the trash can, and then they PT'd the hell out of us. It means they exercised us afterwards. But I had the opportunity. I went in at 17. I had the opportunity to quit smoking. 8 weeks, after 8 weeks, it's out of your system. You no longer have nicotine in your system after 2 weeks. As a smoking cessation specialist, and that's one of the things I do now, I help people get rid of the cigarettes. And I have had the most up-to-date training through University of Wisconsin on the latest and greatest, things that we can use. I use the gum. And the orange-flavored nicotine gum came out right around when I was quitting, which was July 2005. My last cigarette was July 15th, 2005. And you bet I remember that day. You do something for 30-something years, you're not going to forget about it when you stop it all at once. If you guys have any questions on this, please make a panda bear. I love panda bears. One in particular, but she don't like me no more. Such as anyhow, smoking cessation. The way that you get rid of the habit. First, it's got to happen in your head. I mean, you have to be ready in your head and your heart to get rid of the cigarettes. Cigarettes in and of themselves are toxic. We know that. That's. But 45 million Americans are still smoking. 45 million Americans still smoke cigarettes. And what really bothers me is 1,700 teenagers are taking it up every single day. 1,700 teenagers every single day. That's not good. And even the vapes, I would prefer. If somebody absolutely positively has to do nicotine, that I would prefer, simply because you're not having the combustibles. That 1,200 degree butt, cherry on the end of that cigarette, forcing those toxins at a very high temperature into your lungs. Dig this. All right, truly. I support medical marijuana. I'm a medical marijuana user. I've had my card ever. But prior to that, I used marijuana back all the way to my teens. 44 years worth of experience. All right. It allows me, and I am a permanently disabled person with my back. And anyone who's read the book, if you haven't seen it, Pushing Double Nickels, it's on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kindle. If you want it free, I'll send it to you digitally. No free or no charge. Just hit me up on any of my social links or email me at pushingdoublenickels@yahoo.com, pushingdoublenickels@yahoo.com, or send me a message on my website, personaltrainingwithbrad.com, personaltrainingwithbrad.com. Just send me a message. If you want the book, it's free. The first chapter is on quitting smoking. Second chapter is on losing weight and putting on muscle at any age. I can literally help anyone at any age improve themselves. So, I don't care if you're 20, 40, 60, 80 years old or older. You can improve. Small things, little steps. It doesn't have to be all at once. Remember, I didn't get to this and 50 pounds heavier than this. I didn't get to that overnight, right? So when you see all these television commercials that are talking to you about lose weight fast, lose 20 pounds in 30 seconds, they're simply trying to get your money to sign up for their programs, for their diet plans, or their whatever it is, their short-term fixes is what I call them. Everybody wants immediate gratification. Everybody wants to get those pounds off immediately. Well, you didn't put them on immediately. It takes time. I mean, every 3,500 calories that you consume that you don't burn in some form of exercise or just by the fact that you're breathing, right? Every 3,500 calories that just goes in but doesn't come out somehow turns into 1 pound of fat. That's simple. Say it with me. Every 3,500 calories that I consume that I don't burn off in some form of caloric expenditure turns into 1 pound of fat. And it's easy to figure this stuff out. I have my clients, people that come to me, especially that need to lose weight, fill out a food chart, a 1-week food chart that tells me everything they ate, what they ate, the amount they ate, did it have a brand name? Was it an Oreo? If it was Oreos, how many Oreos did you have? Did you have 6 or the whole bag? I mean, I want to know specifically what they ate, how much they ate, and I want to know what time they ate it. What time did you have that food? I want to know where they ate it. Did they eat it out? Did they eat it at home? Did they eat it in their car? I mean, you'd be amazed at some of the places people eat food. Seriously. You would seriously giggle if I told you some of the places people eat food. So I want to know where they ate it. I want to know if they ate it with somebody. Because I want to know over a whole week, are they eating most of their meals by themselves? Are they eating most of their meals with somebody? I want to understand Because not only do I want to know who, but then I want to know why did you have that food? Okay. Did you eat because you were hungry? Did you eat because something else was going on? We all know the term comfort food. Take it from me. I know what my comfort food is. My comfort foods are fried chicken, steak, meatloaf. Those are my top three. Love them. And keep in mind, right, everybody thinks when they're told by their doctor, normally, you need to lose weight. I mean, standard fare comes up at your annual physical. And right now, because we have two epidemics happening in this country, actually globally, but America leads the way, yay, we have an obesity epidemic happening. I got caught up in it. I know. Firsthand, I got caught up in it. I got fat and happy. When I was gaining weight, it's not something that gives you symptoms. It's not like you get the sniffles or sore throat or a fever because you're putting on pounds. You do not realize you're becoming overweight or becoming obese. Unless, of course, you're getting your annual physical and your doctor says, well, your BMI is this and it needs to be this. Just like any of you saw the recent news reports from the White House doctor that did the president's physical, and he's 6'3", 239 pounds, so he's borderline obese. And so now they're going to make him do exercise and do a little bit of changes in his diet. The bottom line is you don't have to start eating cardboard. You don't have to start eating plastics. You don't have to turn every meal into salads. I mean, let's be realistic. That's not going to happen. It didn't happen with me. I still eat what I like. All right. I still eat what I want. If I have a craving for pizza, I get pizza. But now I have a slice or two at a time. I don't eat the whole thing at one sitting. It comes down to portion sizes. And that's going to be the key. Even, who was that lady from that show with Mama, with the I never saw the show itself, but there was a lady in television. She got really big, Mama something or other, and she lost a whole bunch of weight. And of course, I was reading the article about it because I was curious what she did, and she credited it mostly to portion size. The other thing she credited it to, and this I do not recommend, she slept in past noon so she could skip breakfast. Do not do that, please. Thank you kindly. Seriously, if you guys have any questions or comments, hit me up on this because this is important stuff. Hi, my name is Skimberly. Oh, Kimberly, not Skimberly. Hi, Kimberly. How are you doing today? If anybody has any questions that I can answer beyond health, let me know. Just my specialties as a ACE certified health coach and ACE certified personal trainer. Right now, I help people quit smoking. I help people lose weight. I help people gain muscle. And I don't care how old you are. You can be 80 years old. You can still put on some muscle. You can still get a better center of balance, center of gravity, range of motion. Any of us that are over 50 will tell you right now, as you age, your range of motion can decrease. That's one of the leading causes for people going into homes, getting in-home care, and it's happening earlier and younger in some, and it shouldn't be. All they really need to do is to move a little more, exercise a little more, change their lifestyles a little bit more, not sitting around as much. Believe me, we have a big issue in America with our sedentarianism. Anyhow, seriously, any questions you have on this, let me know. Because there's one thing that we're all facing, and believe me, we're all in this together. If there's 330 million Americans, right, and out of 330 million Americans, 2/3 of us are either overweight or obese, there's a whole lot of people out there that I need to talk to and get this message out to, right? Especially if you're one of the 84 million Americans who are now on the pre-diabetes list. When I started tracking this number a few years back, it was at 72 million. So in about 5 years, a little less than 5 years, we have gone from 72 million pre-diabetics in America Remember, that's out of 330, well, at that time it was about 321 million. So out of about 330 million Americans, now 84 million are pre-diabetic. What does that mean? Well, that means that you're right on the line. You're right on the border of getting full-blown diabetes, type 2 diabetes mellitus. This is nothing to mess around with. If those of you who are currently looking at me and going, well, how do I know if I have prediabetes? If you currently haven't had a physical or spoken with your doctor about it. If your primary care physician, if you have one, I hope you all do, if you have not been told, you can pretty much guess by a couple of factors. One, am I overweight? I mean, not just a couple of pounds, but I'm 142 pounds right now. That means I'm at weight, okay? So I'm at balanced weight. My body mass index, which is the most important thing, more so than the weight, is your BMI. Here, my BMI was probably in the low 30s, okay? My BMI now is 22. When I was 252 pounds, my BMI was 38. 38, okay? So 110 pounds later and 16 BMI points down, I'm where I need to be. I'm at balanced location. And that's what I try to get everyone to, whether they're a client of mine or not. One of the reasons I like to work with folks here is a lot of people need my help. Not everybody's going to want to hire a personal trainer. Very few people who were where I was. And let me show you the scary picture again, you guys, just so you see this. Because remember, 252 pounds, you really don't feel like walking into a health club with all these buff people coming up to you and going, hey, can I help you? I mean, that's the last thing you want to do. And believe me, that was the last thing I wanted to do at 252 pounds. But something had to be done, right? I mean, when my doctor said to me, he said, Brad, you've got diabetes, full-blown diabetes. The symptoms I was having at that time were nuts. Constant thirst. Constant. I could not drink enough of anything. And nothing would quench my thirst. Therefore, you drink a lot, guess what? You're going to the bathroom a lot. So, nonstop. My vision improved. And this was before I had the laser eye surgery, when I still had contacts and glasses. My vision improved. I didn't know it till I saw my ophthalmologist, and he goes, well, yeah, you better get checked for diabetes. So there I was, just turned 46, right? 252 pounds of me, still smoking cigarettes, pack a day, Camel filters, pretty much, fat and happy, other than these weird symptoms I've been having. But nothing hurt, other than the usual back pain. I've had back pain forever. But nothing else hurt. I mean, everything seemed, fine until those symptoms hit. And then he says, well, guess what? You better make some changes. Otherwise, you can start picking out fingers and toes that you don't like because they're going to cut them off. That's what happens. Diabetes actually kills off the nerves in your lower extremities first. One of the first signs and first indicators, even before you start getting numbness or tingling, long before you getting that burning pain that happens. Unfortunately, I've never had it, but I know people have. I have had friends who've had things removed. It's a scary thought, But long before any of the feeling begins to go or the numbness or tingling, look for this. Loss of hair on your toes. And I don't care if it's even peach fuzz hair. Anything, even if it's just a couple little things that you have now. Keep an eye out for that, because that is one of the first indicators that you're losing circulation down there, okay? But let's talk about not getting there in the first freaking place, right? I mean, had I not gone to 252 pounds, right, sitting around working on the computer all day in the computer training industry, had I not been just let myself go, because I did, I ate anything I wanted. I was not exercising, and blew up to 252 pounds. There I was. And the doctor says, you need to make changes. So I had multiple issues to face. One, I had to get rid of the cigarettes. Two, I had to lose weight. And 3, I had to figure out, what the heck am I going to do about diabetes? I mean, seriously. I mean, 3 challenges, 1 time. What the heck? So I did what any good IT guy did at that time, and I did my research on the internet about diabetes, and I did my research on the internet about smoking cessation, getting rid of cigarettes, and I gathered all the information, and I put together a plan that was, I planned, believe me, I had absolutely no intention, if I was going to get rid of cigarettes after 31 years, that I was ever going to take them up again. That was not going to happen. Anybody who knows me, and you can go look up my profile on LinkedIn and read some of the letters from folks about me, I tend to stick to what I'm doing, especially if it's important. So I knew darn well if I was going to get rid of the cigarettes, it was going to be permanent. There was going to be no going back. So I made a plan. I implemented the plan. July 15, 2005, I had my very last cigarette. I mean, it was a ceremony, you know, the ashtray, the lighter, the everything. It was a ceremony. And I haven't had a cigarette since. In fact, the smell now just turns my stomach. So I guess that's a good thing. And remember, I have been a marijuana user since my teens as well. The big difference is tobacco, every single year of the 31 years that I used tobacco, I would get bronchitis, upper respiratory infection. Yeah, because of the cigarettes, upper respiratory infection, bronchitis normally, almost every single year of that 31 years that I smoked cigarettes. Got rid of the cigarettes 2005. I haven't had a case of bronchitis since. Yeah, I caught the flu, I think, once or twice. But other than that, nothing. So for me, getting rid of the cigarettes was amazing. And remember, it takes about 10 years, 7 to 10 years for your lungs to clean themselves back out again. You know, back to what they used to be before you were a smoker. So even a pack-a-day smoker like I was for 31 years, once I was able to get rid of the cigarettes, my lungs were able to come back at least to the point before I was a non-cigarette smoker. And me using the medical marijuana, and I've been using it for ages, it really helps me take less medication, over-the-counter medication from my doctor, who fully supports this as well, for my back. Back issues are something that 100 million Americans face. You know, 1 out of 3 of us have back problems. It's amazing, but not surprising. And dig. The human spine started evolving about 500 million years ago. In fact, we can still dig up our earliest ancestor in the sand. You can go dig them up now. The human spine was not built for sitting like this. The human spine was not built to be in this position. This way? Sure. You know, absolutely, you know, perfect. Even standing is preferable to sitting on the tailbone and your 2 butt bones, which is basically what you're doing. You're sitting on a tripod when you sit down. And if you're heavy, if you get heavy like I got heavy, and especially when I got up 50 pounds heavier than this. So, I mean, imagine we're talking about, you know, 4 of these 25-pound weights and 10. All right, so 4 times this used to be attached to me, mostly in my gut. That's where I held most of my weight, as you can see. But imagine just the fact that you've got to get rid of the weight, you got to get rid of the cigarettes, and you got to get the diabetes under control. That's hit you all at one time. And that's what's happening right now, because we have a obesity crisis. 1 out of 3 Americans is overweight. That's me, overweight. 1 out of 3 Americans is obese. And the picture there at 252 was me, obese, BMI 38. And the other 1/3 of Americans are in some kind of shape. But 2/3 of America is either overweight or obese right now. And you know what the result is? Lifespans have decreased for the 2nd year in a row since we've been tracking them. Let me repeat that so you understand me. And see if you have any questions or comments on this. Fan me up, you guys. I'd appreciate it if you would. Go ahead and fan me. That way when I'm on talking about this stuff, especially if you have anybody that wants to quit smoking, invite them. You know, I'll talk with them. If anybody's got issues right now, they want to talk about losing weight, invite them. You know, bring them on. Type 2 diabetes. 84 million of us 84 million of us, 1 out of every 4 people right now are pre-diabetic. That scares the daylights out of me as a health coach. That tells me I have got a lot of work to do. But the nice thing, if you want to say it's nice, being on the pre-diabetics list gives you the opportunity to get off the list. That means that you can go off of being a possible candidate of having type 2 diabetes. I have type 2 diabetes. That health threat is what prompted me to make the changes that I made, to lose the weight, to quit the cigarettes. Don't wait till you get a health threat. Seriously. I mean, you may be sitting there right now and be pre-diabetic and not even realize it. I didn't know. Didn't have a clue. It wasn't until my blood sugars were so darned high, I should have been in a diabetic coma. It wasn't until I was getting those crazy symptoms, and I mean really crazy symptoms, that clued me that anything was going on with my blood sugars. So there I was, just turned 46. I'm diabetic. I'm overweight. I'm a 30-plus year cigarette smoker. I'm not Mr. Healthy. So things had to change. Things had to change. So now I just help people do the same thing. For me, getting healthy was more like getting in balance, becoming more balanced. Because being healthy is 75% nutrition, 25% activity. 75% of what goes into your body is going to determine whether you're losing or gaining weight. 25% of your activity, what you do, is going to decide whether or not you're losing or gaining weight. That's the formula, 75-25. And for the 75%, the nutrition, like I said, every 3,500 calories that goes into your body that you don't burn turns into a pound of fat. Conversely, every 3,500 calories that you burn comes off of your body as a one less pound of fat, if you will. So for me, losing weight is something that anybody can do at any age. It's just a simple math formula. I mean, unless you have conditions that, your doctor says these are reasons that you're having issues with weight. Some can be glandular issues. Some can be thyroid issues. There are people out there that have issues with their weight that have nothing to do with the food they eat, the amount of food they eat. But for those of us like me, and I'm that person, that I wasn't watching my portions. I was eating anything I wanted, and I still eat anything I want. But at that time, the portions were, if it was in front of me, it disappeared. I eat the whole thing. If it was there, it was gone. And of course, as the bigger I got, the bigger my stomach got, the more food I could eat. And the more food I could eat, the bigger my stomach got. I mean, it turned into a vicious circle. Pretty big vicious circle towards the end there. Seriously, my waist was up to 44, 46, and I still kept a pair of those old khaki pants that, I used to wear in IT that have the stretch on the sides, on both sides. Love those things, and don't laugh too much, but they have shirts out now. Untuck it. Come on, guys. Seriously. If we weren't all running around with beer bellies, we wouldn't need shirts like Untuck It, right? I mean, so yeah, he was trying to solve a big problem. No, the problem is take off the freaking weight. Get rid of the gut. That way it doesn't matter. Your shirt's in or out. In fact, ladies will prefer you with your shirt off if you take off the weight. And believe me, it doesn't matter what age you are. You can make improvements. Any age. Seriously. You can start taking control step by step, little by little, and over time, because remember, 13 years ago, I was obese, smoking cigarettes. This was me, 13 years ago. Dun, dun, dun. 13 years ago, that was me. So, if I can do this, me, the old IT couch potato, anybody can make changes. Who's joined us? Hey, Jones, what's going on? Afram, Joji, Nordy Snuffs. I love that. That's a great name. I'd be curious how you came up with that one. Anyhow, I appreciate you guys fanning me, so that way you know when I'm talking about this stuff again later. My goal this year is to help as many people quit smoking cigarettes as possible, help as many people get their health in shape as possible, lose weight, get in shape, get their emotional issues under control, their intellectual growth, their spiritual growth. Being a healthy person, being 100% is being balanced across the full spectrum. Yeah, sure, I'm concerned about whether or not you're in shape. I mean, I don't want you to be like I was. I don't want anybody to be like this. That's unhealthy. That's why lifespans the last 2 years have shortened. It's amazing. It still bothers the heck out of me. But anybody at any age can start taking control and make some changes. And that's what I keep on telling people. That's what I keep on preaching. And that's what I'll keep on spreading the word about until everybody understands. It doesn't matter where you start on the path to become healthy. I mean, I started at 252 pounds. My BMI was 38. I was obese. I was in my 31st year of smoking cigarettes. And I've been sitting around on my butt working in computers for 25 years. So there I am at 46 years old. I have major challenges facing me. So the path, the point that I started on the path was way back on unhealthy. Now at 59 this year, my BMI is 22. My weight is 142. I'm 110 pounds less than I used to be. I did not even become a personal trainer until 56. I wanted to become a certified health coach. That was my goal. That's what I am. The personal trainer is prerequisite. So yeah, okay, I'll help you build muscle. But that's not all. You need to be balanced all the way around. Physically, mentally, emotionally, intellectually, spiritually. All of these things are important. You're not just part person. You're an entire person. All of you counts. All of you matters. And just so you understand, even where you're at now, even if you're coming at the same point on the path to health that I used to be, even at that point, you can make those changes. They can be permanent. You are not stuck in that situation. I had a gentleman on here the other day was talking about his father who's still smoking and overweight in his 50s, and he thinks he's too old to make changes. That's absurd. It's ridiculous. The human body is malleable at any age. It's clay. You can shape your mind, you can shape your body. Anything you want to do, you can do. It just takes the time and the motivation. Well, of course, that's why people hire me. I can help motivate you. That's one of the things that I do the best. So for people that need to lose weight, that need the extra help to lose weight, that can't kick their own butts, I fell back on my Marine Corps training. I was very fortunate. But there are very few of us former Marines out there. Funny, there's a lot of personal trainers who are former Marines, wonder why. But I was able to fall back on that and kick my own butt and still do on a daily basis. To me, having boot camp training and going through training my gunny and my 2 other DIs were just outstanding because their lessons weren't just on physical. They guided us. They were, I would think, some of the best DIs at the time, but then again, I'm partial. But to me, I was able to fall back on that training. So now I can use that not only for me, but also to help my clients. What I do and my goal as a personal trainer, health coach, what I think makes me successful is I make you your own personal trainer. I make you your own health coach. By the time you're done working with me, and that's personaltrainingwithbrad.com, but by the time you're done working with me, you are your own personal trainer. You are your own health coach. You already know how to set your own SMART goals. You've already learned how to read nutrition labels. You already understand the balance that is required to be an overall healthy individual. Being healthy is not just being at a good weight. Being healthy is not just having muscles. Being healthy is the entire gamut. What goes on in your mind, what goes on in your heart, how you treat your friends, your family, your community. Being healthy is being balanced. So I guess you could say I'm a balance specialist, if you will. But one of the things that's really important for my clients to understand, and they appreciate, and just everybody out there understands, as an ACE certified personal trainer and an ACE certified health coach, we're regulated under HIPAA. We are under those same privacy regulations as any doctor, nurse, any medical professional that handles anything related to persons. So when my clients are working with me, I don't care if they're big enough they don't want to leave their house. I do a lot of Skype with my clients. Doesn't matter to me, right? Anything that goes on between us stays between us. If they have me working with their physician, and I do work with physicians, a lot of my clients are now coming to me with diabetes and prediabetes. I told you the numbers. I mean, 30 million Americans, like me, are already diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. 84 million Americans are right on the precipice, right on the line. For me, that's awesome good news, because that means that they can get off that list. Off that list. All right, so what I'm doing is getting people in balance. Physically, mentally, emotionally, intellectually, spiritually, the whole gamut. Whatever people need help with, I put together a custom plan. This is cookie cutter solutions. Not everybody comes to me needing the same things. They come to me requiring different levels of help. I mean, if you never smoked cigarettes, you were a lot smarter than me. I guarantee you. My dad was smart. He never smoked a cigarette. Wish to God I'd have followed his footsteps on that one. Anyhow, if you guys have any questions or comments on this stuff, let me know. Ugh. Hey, Var, how you doing? Carolee. Attila. Is that like Attila the Hun? I still like Nordy Snaps. I'm curious how you came up with that one. Hey, you guys, seriously, fan me if you haven't fanned me. Capture a moment and put it on my wall. I'd appreciate it. Here, let me grab one of the monsters. I have been an animal lover my entire life. Okay, I've been doing small dog rescue for over 30 years. I have 3 myself. I used to have 4. One passed from old age a couple years ago. But I have 3 myself. They're special needs dogs, and they're all Chihuahua mixes. This is my Zoey. All right, I'm not even going to pick her up. I'm going to pick you up so you can see. Miss Zoey, you going to say hi to everybody? Huh? Huh? What? Yes? Yes. She's a Chiweenie, half dachshund, half Chihuahua. Make sure you guys can see her. Yeah. She's about 12 years old now. She's been with me since 2007. She suffers panic attacks. And anything that goes off like a firework or anything like that, it's panic city. I have to get sedatives for her 4th of July and January 1st, obviously, the New Year's. And then, of course, there's my Chug Zachary and my Chiggy Zeke. Zachary's about 13 years old now. Oh, baby. And Zeke's about 4. Anyhow, I just thought I'd show you the monsters, and one of the things that motivates me. Keeping a balance, to me, has always been a matter of not just weight, but things I do, things that matter to me. Setting goals, not just short-term, but long-term goals. You want to have satisfaction in your life. One of the best things to do is to plan things in advance. Even if it's just, short trips or just things that you normally like to do, concerts, movies, whatever. When you're making plans, things are optimistic. And being optimistic really is a daily choice. Being positive when you wake up in the morning. We all wake up with challenges. Sometimes if you woke up with my back, you wouldn't want to get out of bed. Sometimes there are times I wake up, I don't want to get out of bed. 100 million Americans suffer lower back pain, or some form of back pain. So 1 out of 3 of us. So I understand that. I've had back pain forever. But when you wake up every day, you've got the choice. Is it going to be a good day? Is it going to be a bad day? Am I going to be happy today? Am I going to try and do something positive? If I can't find something positive to do for myself, can I find something positive to do for my friends or my family or my community or my planet or the animals that we share our planet with? To me, the dogs, the domestic cats, they're our responsibility. As humans, supposedly being at the top of the food chain right now, we are responsible for the animals, especially the ones that we helped create. Chihuahuas, Mastiffs, Bulldogs, none of these dogs would exist if humans hadn't started playing with the gene pool. Right? We took a perfectly good gray wolf that started hanging out at our campfires about 50,000 years ago. And a couple hundred years ago, some enthusiasts started playing with, gene splicing, or not gene splicing, but genetic mutations with crossbreeding. And they basically created all the different breeds of dogs that you see today. 300-400 years ago, a dog was just a dog. There weren't really that many breeds. So most of the breeds have come up in the last 200-300 years tops. But we're responsible for them. Doesn't matter. To me, a dog's a dog. You know, and there is no such thing as a bad dog or aggressive dog. Pit bulls have got a way horrible reputation. There's no such thing as an aggressive pit bull or an aggressive German Shepherd or an aggressive Doberman or Pitty or Hottie. I mean, it all comes down to the human who's training them. There are no bad dogs. There are only bad humans. I've had dogs big and small, everything from Danes down to a teacup Chihuahua and everything pretty much in between. And I can tell you right now, a dog is a dog is a dog. They all have the same 4 legs, ears, nose, tail, senses, and they all have the same mentality and intellectual capabilities of about a 2 to 3-year-old child. Every one of them. I don't care how big or small they are. Of course, there are genius dogs, you know, just like there are genius people. All right, and conversely, there are some that aren't quite as bright as others. My Great Dane loved to bounce off of cars. You know, I mean, not going fast, just coming up our driveway for some reason. He just liked to run along next to it and bounce off of it. Lovable dog. Thought he was a 130-pound lap dog. But the bottom line is, they all have the same mentality. They're all about a 2 to 3-year-old child. Domestic dogs wouldn't even exist if it wasn't for us humans. So we, as far as I'm concerned, are responsible for them. You guys have dogs? Any dog owners out there? Anybody have any rescues? I really, truly respect people who rescue. There are way too many dogs that are still being bred in puppy mills all over the place and being sold in pet stores. And there's millions of dogs that are being killed in animal shelters. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. But yeah, if you guys are dog lovers like me, you'll appreciate the fact that I've got a book coming out on dogs this year. Can you see me? Well, Papa, I'm not quite sure if I can see you, but I can most certainly read your chat, bud. You know, hey mate, are you over there in England, Australia, South Africa? Where are you at? Last time somebody said hi mate was when I was doing Operation Kangaroo 2 down in Australia. Very, very nice people down there. Absolutely beautiful, beautiful country. You know, gorgeous. You know, I'd love to get down to. I've never made it into Queensland. I'd love to go visit Queensland and a few other places. A friend of mine has a goal to go to New Zealand. I'd love to do that one as well. Anyhow, I'm here to answer any questions. I can sit here and jabber at you all day long about health, losing weight, getting your diabetes under control. Quitting smoking is something I'm helping people do for free this year. So if anybody out there wants to get rid of those cigarettes, if you're ready to get rid of those cigarettes, I will do it for free, no charge. Right? So hit me up, hit me on any of my social links. Anyhow, anybody has any questions? Otherwise, we're going to play Lie Swatter. I'm going to put a little trivia going with my Amazon Echo here because I really do need to get my weights done while you guys are watching. Diallo, how's it going? Remember, sitting for any length of time is not good. So
here's your reminder. Lori is coming at 2 o'clock.
Alexa, stop. Alexa, say hi.
Hi.
Do you guys have an Amazon Echo, anybody besides me? I love my Amazon Echo. It's just plain awesome. I have one in multiple rooms, and when you're playing music, you can set it up so that it plays on both of your echoes, or if you have multiple echoes, you can play it in multiple rooms, which is really awesome, especially when you want a boogie. You know, that'd be a fun thing to start on here, is just a whole boogie hour. I mean, just boogie music, and everybody get up and dance. You know, I love that. If anybody would want to do something like that, I'll put together a boogie playlist. You know, everything with all our favorites. Anyhow, so if anybody has any questions, hit me up. Otherwise, I'm going to continue doing my weights. I'm getting ready to do some, let me see, what I do? I just finished those. I'm up to tricep curls is what I'm up to now. So you guys can watch me do some tricep curls if you want. I really would like to answer your questions, though, on pretty much any topic you can think of. And like I said, in Pushing Double Nickels, you'll find this on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kindle. I got 80 chapters in here, guys. You know, I cover pretty much any topic you can think of, even some really weird stuff. You know, topics about the universe and things like that. First chapter is quitting smoking. Second chapter is getting your weight under control and building muscle. I can help people build muscle at any age. That doesn't matter if you're 15 or 50, if you're 40 or 80. Anybody can put on muscle. It's just the matter of putting the program together, the plan together that fits the specific needs of each person that I'm working with. It's not a cookie cutter solution. It's always custom. To me, personal training really is personal training because I have to personalize and customize each plan because everybody comes to me in a different place. You saw what I was. 250 pounds, cigarette smoker, diabetes. I didn't do myself any favors. Let's put it that way. Iced tea, you guys. You get parched talking all this stuff all the time. And I have absolutely no issue with taking a drink on air. I don't know what the heck is up with no, don't start me. Don't even start me. Anyhow, fan me if you haven't fanned me yet. That way you know when I'm on. If you have any questions, I'm serious. I challenge anybody to hit me up with a good question today. A good one. I don't care what it is. It doesn't have to be about personal training. It doesn't have to be about health coaching. Take your pick. Have you been hit with pre-diabetes? Any of you out there currently been hit with type 2 diabetes or think you might be on the pre-diabetes list? I'd be curious. How about dog owners? Any of you guys dog owners out there? Remember, that's half of what I do is taking care of animals. Not just the human ones. Anyhow, I'm going to go ahead and get my tricep curls going, you guys. You can certainly join me if you want. If you have any questions, I'm waiting for anybody to hit me up with a good challenging question. Here's a question I'll put out to you guys. And this is a one I like to ask everybody. Hey, Racem Turan. Did I say that right? Kareem, what's going on? Hey. Pushing double nickels. Get a look on Amazon. Support the cause. Hit me up with some questions, you guys. Otherwise, we're going to go ahead and play some lice water while I get some more weights accomplished. Hey, I guarantee you this much. Nobody is going to hire me as a personal trainer or health coach if I still look like this. Right? Right? Think about it. Oh, yeah, I'll help you get in shape. That's real believable, right? Any personal trainer or health coach should tell you our first client is ourselves. That's my first and most important client is me. One, because I know I could put that weight back on. I could easily get right back up to 252 pounds, guys. It would not be that difficult to do. Just a matter of letting go. Mind you, my lifestyle has changed to the point now where I could never go back there, literally, especially as a certified health professional now, being trained and getting certified so I can help other people do what I did. Not everybody has the Marine Corps training background that I did that was able to allow me to kick my own butt, and walk off 110 pounds, get rid of a cigarette habit, get my diabetes under control, as well as managing some pretty nasty chronic back pain. If anybody does read, Pushing Double Nickels, and I do have about 7,000 fans on my Facebook page, so I know a few people have read the book. I've heard from people that have actually quit smoking and lost weight, and credit it to reading the book. So at least I've accomplished some good, what I was after for publishing it in 2014. This year I'm publishing a book on dogs. More about dog emotions and everything that you possibly ever wanted to know about a dog. That's coming this year. I'm hoping in the same vein that I can offer the same kind of help and support for the dogs because they freaking need us. Literally, we took a gray wolf and turned it into a chihuahua. A perfectly good gray wolf that could fend for itself and turned it into a couch potato that couldn't spend the night in the woods if its life depended on it, and it would. So this year I'm putting out a dog book. But 2014, the book I put out was to help people lose weight, quit smoking, and as a professional now, no longer in computers, now I help people as a certified personal trainer and certified health coach. So if you are one of those people that is in the situation where I was, if you need to quit smoking, I'll help you do that for free. That's my community give back this year. Nobody can start to get their health in order if they still smoke cigarettes. It's impossible. I promise you. 45 million Americans, about a little less than 15%, still smoke. And 1,700 teenagers are taking it up every day. I know I've got a fairly young audience here, which is one of the reasons I want to make sure you guys know. If you're a millennial, I expect you to live to 100 plus. Easy. Every single one of you. 100 plus. Without wearing diapers. Without drooling on yourselves. Okay? I mean, we should not be shortening. Our lifespans should not be shortening. The numbers that we should be hearing as lifespans are extending, expanding. Unfortunately, like I said, for the second year in a row, the CDC, the World Health Organization are both telling us lifespans are decreasing. Decreasing. Very simple. Coronary arterial disease, coronary artery disease, the arterial sclerosis, the plaque that builds up inside the artery walls in your heart vessels, and yes, in your brain as well. This is caused naturally by saturated fat and not exercising, just being sedentary. Okay. Over time, this builds up to the point where it closes off arteries, and that's what causes heart attacks. Okay. So being overweight, being obese, and being sedentary, I know, been there, done that, leads to heart disease. Heart disease is the leading cause of death still in America. And the most preventable of the diseases. The most preventable. We know for a fact, if you're overweight or obese, you need to get the pounds off. You know it, I know it, been there, done that. You know darn well by now if you still smoke cigarettes, or if you're even thinking about taking up cigarettes, don't even. Believe me, at 15 years old, if somebody had been able to stop me from becoming a full-time smoker, I know I probably would have not appreciated it at the time. But when the doctor is sitting there telling me you've got type 2 diabetes 31 years later, I think I would have probably appreciated it a little bit more had I known what difference it could have made in my life. Smoking for 31 years from age 15 to 46, I did not do myself any favors. And sitting around getting fat and happy working in computer training for 25 years, eating anything I wanted and basically blowing up to 250 pounds plus with a BMI of 38, I didn't do myself any favors. And neither did I do my back. If you sit all the time, even if you're not heavy, if you sit all the time, the muscles, are not going to support you as well. And that's all the way around. You're going to have problems in your hips. You're going to have problems in your glutes. You're going to have problems in your lumbar. You're not going to be supporting your core. You're going to basically, your ileopsis is just, forget it. That's not even going to have any function, hardly. The bottom line is if you sit all the time, you're constantly deconditioning, constantly. Which means also you're putting gravitational forces on your lumbar spine, your lower spine, that can give you lordosis. Now let me explain this. There are three major disorders of the spine. Three major. I mean, there's some minor ones, but three major disorders of the spine. Okay. You've got kyphosis. Now that's where hunchback, where your spine hunching forward, hunchback every day. That's kyphosis. You've got scoliosis. Now, we've all heard of that one. I actually have scoliosis mildly. That can either be a C curve or an S curve, either way. But scoliosis curves the spine, and it doesn't always go side to side. It can actually turn it as well while this is happening. So for severe cases, believe me, if you know someone who has scoliosis, you know what I'm talking about. And then lordosis. And this I learned as I was going through training as a health coach and physical trainer, personal trainer. What I learned, lordosis, although it is a congenital disorder, can also be caused and exacerbated by sitting. Long periods of sitting can give you lordosis. Lordosis is the curvature of the spine forward, right? Look at it like this. If you go to get on an old nag, a horse, they give you the old nag, and you see that horse from the side and it's got that U shape, that's extreme lordosis. In humans, basically, it takes the lumbar and forces it forward towards the stomach. Okay, so it pushes that forward. At the same time, displaces the hips. Long-term sitting causes this to happen. If like me, you sit on the job for 30 years, that is what you call a repetitive job injury. I mean, simply not repetitive motion injury because you're not moving, but a repetitive non-motion injury, most definitely. By the time I had all of the x-rays, MRIs done, everything that I found out about my spine, which put my pain puzzle together, and I credit everybody in the introduction of this book of Pushing Double Nickels. I credit my physical therapist. I credit my back surgeons, although I never had any surgery done. There's nothing they can do. But I credit the professionals for at least finally diagnosing what was causing my back pain. Because after 25 years in information technology, I had gotten to the point where just sitting, sometimes for 15 minutes or less, was painful, literally painful. I mean, I've seen these commercials about the Veridesk, and I had asked my boss back in the day, I go, do you mind if I look into getting a stand-up desk? And I don't think he truly understood me at the time, and maybe he was just being smart, I don't know. But he said to me, he goes, well, you can sit or stand at your desk anytime you want. And if I could have reached through the computer monitor to grab him at the time, I would have. But I'm the guy that had the boxes, and I had my monitor on the box, I had my keyboard on a mouse, I had my mouse on a box, I had pictures. And when I was in my Brea office, I worked at Quick Start Intelligence at the time. And I have pictures of me in my office standing at my desk with boxes because I just couldn't sit anymore. The pain was killing my lower back. And I've obviously been under doctor's care for it for a long time. And it just got worse and worse and worse. And finally got to the point where my pain was 24/7, 365. And believe me, I don't care what industry you're in. I don't care what business you're in. I don't care how much you love your job. I loved what I did in computer training. I simply adored it. But no matter how much you like your job, when you're in pain constantly, you get irritable. I mean, you tend to lose focus. Pain and pain management, and I have a whole chapter in managing chronic pain. I think it's chapter 4 in Pushing Double Nickels. I've got a whole chapter on that in here. Pain and pain management can run your entire day. You can spend your entire day from the moment you wake up until the moment you finally get blissfully off to sleep, if you need the proper meds to knock you out. But you can spend your entire day not just managing your pain, but thinking about managing your pain, thinking about the pain. I mean, it can really take over your life. Take it from someone who knows. I have got injuries and permanent things going on with my back that nobody should have, and in combinations that you would never think possible. So I no longer sit very much, at least not for long periods of time, at least not for without. This is a very comfy, just so you know. This is, I think, called the Tushy Cushy, but I have everything, literally everything padded now. I'm not kidding either. I got a padded toilet seat. I'm not kidding. Everything is padded. I prefer to sit on, the big cushy, beanbag type things. Sitting on a hard surface, a hard chair, a church pew, for instance, it would kill me, absolutely kill me, and it bugs me when I go into doctor's offices, which obviously I do a lot. When I go into a doctor's office, they always want you to sit down. Come on in, go sit down in the waiting room. I don't want to sit down. I mean, that's one of the issues that we have happening in America right now. Everybody is sitting too much. Everybody's sitting everywhere. We need to have more places in waiting rooms where people can stand, more places in restaurants where people can stand. The myth that you have to be sitting to eat a meal is wrong. You can stand. I don't want you exercising. Don't get me wrong. I don't want you jogging in place as you're downing your meal. I mean, still keep your blood pressure and your heart rate at normal levels, just like you're sitting, but okay, you're standing. Or you're one of those, I have a high dining room table with the high chairs. I just push the chair aside and I'll stand there. I stand, I watch TV. I'll stand Well, I'm sitting here talking to you. I stand as I'm working, writing my book. I don't even use my hands. I talk to my computer. I use the Dragon, naturally speaking, and I've got the blue ball microphone. So I'm all set up. In fact, I wrote most of Pushing Double Nickels verbally, simply because I can. I mean, technology has gotten us to the point now where pretty soon we're all going to have our own little AI devices that float around with us and follow us everywhere we go. I mean, Alexa, say hello.
Hi.
We're almost there now. And I'm not kidding. I mean, pretty soon we'll have a little chip that they'll put under the skin that, by choice, that's going to have everything on it you need. Everything from your credit card information to your medical history. I mean, you'll never have to carry a credit card or wallet or cash ever again. They'll probably be doing it with irises before long. I get onto my phone using my irises, and that's how I unlock my phone. These type of technologies are coming faster and more often, and the next 20, 30 years are going to be absolutely amazing. We will have the ability within the next, 2 generations, I say, within the next 2 generations to stop the aging process. We're already on the track. We're already on track for that now. We understand what causes aging. Telomeres, the ends of our cells, and at the end of every cell, there's something called a telomere. Right? As the telomeres, as the oxidize and aging process